Last time we got together, we were all just expecting, full of hope and excitement. How is everyone holding up? It feels like the days just fly by, and now, with little ones running around, every moment is a whirlwind. Each month brings new challenges, new surprises, and more ways to test patience. Out in public, my little one is calm and charming, but at home? That's another story entirely. Keeping them entertained feels like running a marathon every single day. Family visits are a blessing. When we go to my relative's house, the kids are captivated, and for a brief moment, I can breathe. Hi besties, welcome back. Today, we are diving into a story that's both shocking and heartbreaking. A story that exposes the hidden, darker side of the Duggar family, the consequences of unchecked control, and the bravery of those who have stood up to it. Before we go further, a quick but very important update. The Caldwell's GoFundMe is live again. Donations are being accepted, and I'll link it in the description and pin it in the comments. Even if you cannot donate, sharing, sending prayers, or simply raising awareness is meaningful. I cannot stress enough how much your support matters to the family and to everyone fighting for the truth. The reality is, Jim Bob Duggar's influence continues to shape the lives of those around him. His ego, his control, and his attempts to manipulate reality have caused immeasurable pain, and today, they have done so again. This time, his actions impact not just one son, but his entire family. With Josh, some people were able to dismiss what happened as just one bad apple, but with Joseph, it's bigger. It's more complex. It's darker. And this time, denial isn't an option. Many fans, clinging to the image portrayed on TV, refuse to accept that the people they admired could have caused such devastation behind closed doors. And it's devastating. Years of trust, hope, and belief shattered by lies and manipulation, gaslighting, propaganda, and secrecy have kept the truth hidden for years, but now, momentum is building. Jim Bob's once formidable control is cracking. Age and polarizing beliefs have weakened his ability to manipulate us effectively, and more secrets are being exposed. Allegations now involve at least 3 other brothers, revealing that this is not just a Joseph or Josh problem. This is a familial crisis. The culture surrounding the Duggars is intentionally confusing, segregated, and segmented. Many who became involved were blind fans, willing to overlook everything. But the Caldwells were different. They didn't come as admirers. They met the Duggars by chance and saw the manipulation for what it truly was. Paul Caldwell, in particular, stands apart, a man who believes in freedom, respect, and the rights of others, regardless of religion or ideology. In a world dominated by control and authoritarianism, his perspective shines as a stark contrast. Now, let's talk about Joseph and Kendra. The mainstream media has been misleading. People magazine and others have reported falsehoods, claiming Kendra was hiding, selling items to bail Joseph out, and misrepresenting statements he never made. Headlines celebrate their reunion, but they ignore the trauma and danger Kendra and her children face. This narrative benefits Jim Bob, not the victims. Joseph's legal situation is serious. It's criminal, not just a child custody dispute. Kendra, young and vulnerable, is caught in a system that demands compliance, submission, and dependency. She is a victim of manipulation, forced reproduction, and systematic control. This is the reality of the toxic environment fostered by the Duggar family, and the IBLP compassion is essential. Kendra may have participated in some acts, but she is also a victim. Courts may attempt to correct her, but true justice requires dismantling the culture that enabled abuse and manipulation. Jim Bob's influence is extensive, but victims, allies, and truth-tellers are stronger together. Connecting with others, sharing experiences, and standing united is vital. If you've been impacted by any Duggar family member, reporting it is crucial. Authorities are actively investigating, and your courage could change lives. This story isn't just about one family. It's about exposing control, manipulation, and systemic abuse wherever it hides. It's about recognizing truth when power tries to bury it. And it's about the bravery of those willing to speak up, even when the consequences are enormous. So, what does this mean for viewers like us? It's a call to awareness, empathy, and vigilance. To see beyond the television facade, question narratives, and understand the complexities of abuse and manipulation. To value bravery over appearances, and truth over convenience. And as we continue to follow Joseph and Kendra's unfolding story, we must keep asking, are we prioritizing the real victims or the image that powerful people want us to see? Because right now, headlines are more about reunion than accountability, and that is where the danger lies, that it's a complicated, painful, and shocking story, one that will continue to unfold. But through understanding, discussion, and support, we can confront these injustices together. Stay tuned, because there's more to uncover. The truth isn't always easy to face, but it is necessary. And for those who have been affected, your voice, your courage, and your story matter more than ever. Last time we got together, we were all just expecting hope, anticipation, that sense of life about to change. Do you remember that feeling? How's everyone holding up now? Because let me tell you, things have shifted dramatically. Life with little ones is nothing like before. Every day brings chaos, new surprises, and moments that test your patience in ways you didn't think possible. Out in public, my little one is calm, charming, the picture of innocence. But home, that's another story. Keeping them entertained feels like running a marathon every single day. And yet, somehow, there's joy in it. A strange, beautiful exhaustion. Family visits are a lifeline. When we go to my relative's house, the kids are captivated. I can breathe, and for a few hours, it feels like there's a pause button on life. Hi besties. Welcome back. Today, we need to talk about something heavy, something shocking, something that exposes the hidden, controlling, and dangerous side of the Duggar family. Jim Bob Duggar's ego isn't just a nuisance, it's a weapon. And today, we see its consequences playing out in real time, affecting his son and his daughter-in-law. But before we dive in, there's an important update you need to know. The Caldwell's GoFundMe is live again, and they are now accepting donations. I'll link it in the description and pin it in the comments. Even if you can't donate, sharing, sending prayers, or simply raising awareness is incredibly valuable. The impact of your support, emotionally, mentally, and practically, cannot be overstated. This isn't just a family drama story. It's about control, manipulation, lies carefully hidden behind a facade of piety and family values. With Josh Duggar, some people were able to brush it off as one bad apple. But with Joseph, the scope is bigger, the stakes higher, and the consequences more horrifying. Fans want to cling to the TV image of the Duggars, smiling faces, wholesome family dinners, and ignore the truth behind the curtain. And it's devastating when reality hits. Years of trust, hope, and admiration dismantled by the very people they idolized. The layers of gaslighting, propaganda, and secrecy are staggering. The truth has been buried for decades, but momentum is finally building. Jim Bob's once ironclad control is weakening. Agent polarizing beliefs are revealing cracks, secrets are being exposed, and more allegations are emerging, involving at least 3 other brothers. This isn't just a Joseph or Josh problem. This is a systemic, familial crisis. The Duggar culture is complicated, segregated, and carefully manipulated. Many who got involved were blind fans, loyal regardless of behavior. But the Caldwells were different. They didn't come as fans. They encountered the Duggars by chance and saw the manipulation firsthand. Paul Caldwell, in particular, stands out, a man who believes in freedom, respect, and individual rights for all. In a world controlled by fear and authoritarianism, his perspective is a breath of fresh air. Now, let's focus on Joseph and Kendra. Media reports have been misleading, at best. Headlines claimed Kendra was hiding, selling items to bail Joseph out, and misrepresented statements he never made. They framed Joseph as a victim and minimized the true severity of the situation. This narrative doesn't protect Kendra or her children, it protects Jim Bob and the Duggar image. Joseph's legal situation isn't a simple custody case. It's criminal. And Kendra, young and vulnerable, is trapped in a system that demands submission and compliance. She's a victim of manipulation, coercion, and even forced reproduction. The culture she was thrust into leaves women dependent, controlled, and isolated, a stark reflection of a toxic environment fostered by the Duggar family and the IBLP. Compassion is essential. Kendra may have participated in some acts, but she is also a victim. Courts may attempt to correct her, but real justice comes from dismantling the culture that allowed abuse and manipulation to thrive. Jim Bob's influence is vast, but victims and truth-tellers are stronger together. Connecting, sharing experiences, and standing united is vital. If you've been affected by any Duggar family member, speak up. Authorities are investigating, and your voice can make a difference. This story isn't just about one family. It's about exposing control, manipulation, and systemic abuse wherever it hides. It's about recognizing the truth, even when power tries to bury it. And it's about the courage of those who speak up, even when the consequences are enormous. Now, let's get into the details that most people won't talk about, the parts the media tries to hide or twist. Joseph and Kendra's situation is being misrepresented at every turn. People magazine and other outlets are spinning headlines that make it seem like a harmless reunion, like Joseph is the one in danger, or that Kendra is somehow complicit in a family drama. That couldn't be further from the truth. Kendra is not hiding. She didn't sell items to pay bail. She didn't manipulate the situation. She's a young woman caught in a system designed to keep her dependent, isolated, and controlled. Headlines focus on her reunion with Joseph. But what about the trauma of the little girl who bravely came forward? What about the charges Joseph is facing? The media is trying to rewrite the story to protect the image of the Duggars, not to protect the victims. The reality is chilling. Joseph's legal case is criminal, and Kendra's youth and lack of experience make her incredibly vulnerable. She's trapped in a culture where women are expected to obey, reproduce continuously, and remain dependent on men for every decision. According to sources, Joseph allegedly forced her into pregnancy with their third child without her consent, manipulating birth control methods to maintain control. This isn't just abuse, it's systematic, deliberate, and terrifying. The implications are huge. This isn't about Joseph alone, it's about the culture of control that Jim Bob and the IBLP foster. Women are trained to be obedient, men are taught to dominate, and secrecy is valued over truth. Kendra's case exposes this deeply entrenched system, a system that sacrifices individual safety for the sake of family reputation. Think about the courage it takes for someone to stand up against this. To report abuse, to testify against someone so powerful, to challenge a culture that enforces silence. And now, even with the evidence, the media tries to spin it, confuse the narrative, and minimize the trauma. Headlines celebrate Joseph and Kendra being together again, as if nothing else matters. But in reality, what matters is Kendra's safety and the safety of her children. The manipulation extends beyond headlines. Jim Bob's influence pervades the legal process, family decisions, and community perceptions. Allegedly, even when Joseph's father-in-law tried to intervene, Jim Bob dismissed him, saying, "Kendra's your problem now. You can take care of her for the next 10 to 40 years." Think about that. A human life reduced to a possession, a liability, a tool to be managed, not protected. And this is where the danger becomes almost unimaginable. The narrative being sold to the public minimizes criminal acts, reframes victims as secondary, and glorifies the reunion of abusers. Joseph and Kendra's court case is not a custody dispute, it's a criminal matter, a culmination of years of manipulation, abuse, and secrecy. Yet the reporting skews the truth, protecting the family's image while undermining justice. It gets worse. The culture of forced reproduction within the Duggar IBLP system is brutal. Women are expected to have as many children as possible, often one per year, regardless of health or personal desire. Birth control is controlled, manipulated, or overridden to maintain dependence. In Kendra's case, this wasn't just coercion, it was a calculated attempt to ensure her dependence, to limit her agency, and to maintain Joseph's power over her. This is why compassion is critical. Even if Kendra has made decisions under duress, she is still a victim. Courts may try to fix her behavior, to force her into compliance, to make her fit into the system. But real justice doesn't come from compliance. It comes from exposing the culture that forced her into these choices in the first place. And let's be clear, Joseph's actions didn't happen in isolation. The pattern of manipulation, abuse, and secrecy extends across the Duggar family. Allegations against multiple brothers show that this is not a single case, it's systemic. This isn't a problem of one individual, it's a family and cultural problem that prioritizes control over safety, secrecy over truth. The bravery of victims coming forward is remarkable. Speaking out against powerful, Controlling figures like Jim Bob Duggar is daunting.